Let's look at Acts chapter 20 and something that's familiar to you, or to many of you somewhat. And it just kind of was stirred in my spirit as I was prepping this morning. And so grateful to see a lot of you. Missed a lot of you last week when the time changed, although our iChurch numbers were off the chart. So I'm not sure if that's connected at all, but maybe it is. I don't know. Acts 20. And we want to look here at the 35th verse, Acts 20, 35. And in Acts 20:35, Paul is saying his parting words to the elders here, and the Ephesian elders. He's saying that he's like, look, this is the last time I'm going to see you, and he spends the great portion of this chapter 20 giving them parting words, instructions, etc. And it says in verse 35, I have shown you all things, or in other words, Paul says, I've demonstrated this to you, how that so laboring or having employment or having a job, you ought to support the weak. In other words, you go to work not just to pay your bills, but to have something to give to others, to donate, and to remember the words of the Lord Jesus, how he said, let's read this last part out loud together, come on. It is more blessed to give than to receive. There's so much to that statement as it pertains to our life of giving, our life of generosity, etc. And I'm going to give you a couple of them. First of all, you've heard me say this before, the blessing is on the giving side. The blessing is on the giving side. So many times, either people that don't have faith in God or people whose faith is small, they strive to gain advantage. But that's not how believers think. Believers strive to give advantage. We don't strive to gain advantage, we strive to give advantage. We strive to defer. We strive to bless. We strive to see, Christians are the ultimate. And you remember the two crows, it was a Heckle and Jekyll, that were always like, open the door, no after you, no after you, no I insist, no I insist. That should be the mindset of two Christians in operation. When they get together, they're always looking for who to bless, how to bless. And now, sometimes it's not always possible. I was thinking about right now, when I go out and I eat with fellow believers or things like that, or pastors or people that I'm connecting with in the city or whatever, I always want to pick up the tab as often as I can, just to be a blessing. But I find that when I eat with believers, like-minded believers, it's a Mission Impossible, stealth mode, thing. I've actually gone to places and I thought, well, I'll get in line and I'll be at the front of the line as we go through and get our little trays. And when we get up to the line, I'll have my card first and say, I'm paying to them. So that's my strategy. And I've done that and got all the way up and pulled out my card. And they say, oh, no, the gentleman was here about 20 minutes ago. He went ahead and gave his card. I was like, yeah, man. I feel like Scooby-Doo. I would have got away from it if it hadn't been for those meddling kids, right? You're endeavoring to give. Now, there have been times when I have not been able to do that. And it took me a while as a Christian to learn a language of integrity, just to speak in truth of where you are financially. And that's a very interesting thing, because the social world I came in is full of liars, where you offer stuff you don't want to give, you decline stuff you really need. It's like they don't want you to come in to the house, but they invite you in. We don't want to come in, and then they don't want to offer you anything to drink. They're like, can I get you something to drink? But you're thirsty, parched, and you say, no, thank you, I'm fine. Two liars standing in the foyer. And it took me a while to graduate to relationships of integrity where you could just say what was. So there would be times, as a young minister working and going through Bible school and ministry school and blah, blah, blah. Somebody says, hey, we're going to go out to eat. You want to come? And here's what you can't do. You can't have no money, go out to eat, wait till the bill comes, then announce to the people there, oh, I ain't got no money. That is way dishonorable. You can't do that. Especially if both y'all get there and play in that game, That's called dish ministry, okay? But I learned over time, somebody say, hey, want to go out to eat? And I would say, well, I'm not really in the financial position to do that, but if you're buying, I'm going. And that's just integrity. And then that allows the person to come back and say, you know, I really would, but I'm not in a position to do so. See how much simpler relationships are with that kind of manipulation and all that stuff. But I eventually got to people who say, hey, hey, you want to go out to eat? And they say, I said, well, I'm not really, I can't, I brought, I've got some old moldy bread and some limp celery that I was going to eat, but I don't really have money for lunch. But if you were going to buy it, then I'd love to go. And the person would say, I wouldn't have invited you if I wasn't intending on buying. So this is the thing. But what I'm saying is that so many people go through life trying to gain advantage. But if Jesus' words here are true, that it's more blessed to give than to receive, the blessing is on the giving side. The blessing is on the giving side. So we go to lunch, I buy you lunch, you think, oh, I got blessed. No, I got blessed. You picked up the tab, you blessed me. Or they say, you blessed me this time, you blessed me next time. And what I always say to people, we go out and we'll go to a restaurant or whatever, and they say, like my in-laws, Connie's parents are here, and we always think we'll go out to a restaurant and I'll say, I'll go to Applebee's or whatever, and they'll say, her dad will say, no, I'll get the check. And I said, no, I'll get the check. And no, I'll get the check. No, I said, look, I'll buy it this time. When we go to Ruth's Chris, you can buy. That's right. When we go to Ruth's Chris, you can buy. You know, so, you know, if you know you're going to be going out with people a lot of times, figure out where you want to hop in. So I got last time. Yeah, right, I did get last time. You can get this one. More caviar, please. You know, you can do that. You can do that. But the renewal of the mind, Paul says, remember what Jesus said. It's more blessed to give than to receive. So now this last layer, and I could talk about this all day, but this last layer of this, as we prepare our hearts, is it's this idea of I'm blessed to give, which a lot of times people think I'm blessed to give means I've got so much money that has no demand on it, that it's just laying around and it's just going to rot, so I might as well give it. I've discovered that I'm blessed to give means, even though sometimes it's a stretch, I'm blessed to be able to dig deep and be a blessing, because I know that there are a lot of people that just won't do it. That's what's interesting. As you learn church more and more, you find a lot of people that have money, they don't care about giving it at all. And the people that really are in a tight place, those are the ones who know, even though it's tight, I'm the one that gets blessed out of giving and being generous and depositing in the things of God. So as we give today, and we got to think about this all the time. It's not, well, you know, I blessed the church with $20. I blessed the church with $5. I gave my tithes. I hope the church is blessed. We got to renew our minds. I got blessed. I got blessed. If you and I go out to Applebee's and we get the two meals and an appetizer and two margaritas, two iced teas for $20. If we do that and I put the $20 down and I put the tip, I got blessed. So no, you paid for the meal. I got blessed. It's more blessed to give than to receive. You should come home. If you have relatives that didn't come with you to church today, some people maybe home weren't feeling well, or some people, just don't come to church or work schedule, whatever, and you come, how was church? Oh, I got blessed. Oh, you did? What happened? I gave, $5 in the offering, or I gave my tithes today, or I gave an offering. How did you get blessed? I got blessed. I remember the words of the Lord Jesus. It's more blessed to give than to receive. And there's a layer to this, which is, I think, humanly speaking, from the human side of things, I don't want to say humanist, but humanly speaking, it does something to you in your heart to give. When your motives are right and nobody really knows what's going on, it does something in your heart when you give. There's something about giving that makes you feel good. And in an evolutionary, that's why I say humanistic standpoint, it's like, well, you're only doing it because as an animal you want to feel good about yourself to give, and so you seek pleasure, and the way you seek pleasure is, giving all that other kind of stuff. Well, there's something higher to that it's not blessed here. The word blessed means empowered. There's a blessing that rests on the giver. It's not just in my heart I felt good about giving. That's awesome. But there is an actual blessing and a favor that rests upon the giver. Remember the words of the Lord Jesus. There's a blessing on the giving side. So not only is it I give advantage, but I thank God that God looks out for me, that God makes a way where there seems to be no way, that God is that on-time God in my life, that when I need it, I don't see it coming, but it always works out, it always turns around, it always comes through. God, I thought it was all going to crash, but somehow you kept it going. That's that thing that rests upon us where we realize, you know what, even though, and here's the thing, I think, if I had all the money that I gave back, I'm not sure if that would have made a difference. The devil tells us that would make a difference. What makes a difference in our life is the blessing on our lives that comes because we live with the hand of God over our life. God makes the difference. Amen. Let's